Hello students, today our topic is Python programming, and in this lecture we are going to discuss some program related to Python programming, especially related to if else statement and loop. So let us take program number 9. We already covered 8 program in our previous video. So this is program number 9, Python program to find the factorial of a number. So in this program we have to find the factorial of a given number. As we know that factorial of 0 is 1 and factorial 1 is also 1, and we cannot calculate the factorial of a negative number. And when we talk about the factorial of a number, it simply means that we multiply each and every term continuously up to that number. So for example, if we want to find out the factorial of a 5, then it simply means that 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5 is the result of factorial of 5. So that is the basic concept of factorial of a given number. Okay, so factorial of that 5 is 120. So that is the concept of the factorial of a number, and factorial of 0 is 1 and factorial of 1 is also 1. So let us see how to calculate the factorial of a given number. That program tells about the how to calculate factorial of a given number. First of all, it may be possible that a number is already given, or if you want to use an input, then take a variable and write num is equal to int input, enter a number. For that number, factorial will be calculated according to that coding given in this program. So let us see. That is a program, Python program to find the factorial of a number. Okay. And that is the coding of a factorial of a given number. First of all, for user input, I think it is clear, visible to all of you. Always remember that we give comments throughout the programs for better understandability of a code. But always remember that when we write a hash symbol, that it simply means a single line comment. Okay, so if you make a single line comment, then always write hash symbol before that statement. I just make the font size large, so it may be possible that it go to the second line, then it is not considered as a comment and it will raise an error in your program. Now that is the coding. Now here you can see that first of all, num is equal to 7, a number is given already. So factorial is also calculated for the number 7. But if you want that whatever we input a number, factorial of that number will be calculated and we display the result on the screen. Then we take a variable num and write the statement num is equal to int input, enter a number. So factorial of that number will be calculated according to that. And we take another variable factorial and initialize it with a 1, number 1, because in factorial basically is a variable, or we can say that it is a container which contain the final result of a factorial of a number. So we don't want that any garbage value is there, so we just initialize it with 1, because when we calculate a factorial, then numbers are multiplied to each other. Okay, if we initialize it with 0, then definitely no factorial will be calculated, because if we multiply any number with 0, then our answer is 0. So we just give factorial is equal to 1. Now so here up to that point we just give a number, num is equal to input and enter a number, and take a variable factorial and initialize it with 1, and factorial basically contain the final result. Now that is the main part of that program. First of all we have to check whether number is negative or not, because if number is negative we cannot able to calculate the factorial of that number. As I told you earlier that factorial of 0 is 1 and factorial of 1 is also 1, and after that we can calculate any factorial of any positive number. So basically we cannot able to calculate the factorial of a negative number. So what happens if user input a wrong number or a negative number, then message should be displayed that you entered a wrong number or you input a negative number. So for that purpose we just use a code. If num is less than 0, so message will be there, print sorry, factorial does not exist for negative numbers. Okay, now what happens if number is equal to 0, or just user just input the the value 0, then factorial of 0, as I told you that factorial of 0 is 1. So we give a message, and if num is equal to 0 means if condition is found to be 0 or num is found to be 0, then there is a message that factorial of 0 is 1. And after 1 we can calculate the factorial of each and every positive number. So that part that coding part is given in the else statement. In else statement we actually calculate the factorial of a positive number. So here we just give a loop, coding in a loop, and using for loop we can easily calculate the factorial of a number. So you can easily see that for I in range 1 num plus 1. Okay, and what is the meaning of that statement? As I told you that for is a loop, and this loop basically runs from range 1 to num, and here we give 1 comma num plus 1 in range function, because loop execute up to num only. Last value is not included, whatever we given in the range. So range is num plus 1 and we have to execute the loop up to num, so we just give one more value and execute the loop up to n plus 1. So the statement is for I in range 1 comma num plus 1. Here 1 is the initial value and num plus 1 is the last value. And by default, as I told you that, as we know that there is always an increment of 1. If we want the increment of 2 or 3, then we take another parameter. But in this case, since we have to multiply each and every term continuously, so increment should be 1. So, and by default increment is 1, so we don't give here the third parameter. So the statement is for I in range 1 comma num plus 1. So program start from 1 and goes up to num. Num is the number that we entered. Now second part, within the loop we have to calculate the factorial. So we just give a statement, factorial is equal to factorial multiplied by I. Okay, factorial multiplied by I, and factorial is a variable and we initialize the variable by 1. So here we multiplied it with every value, each and every value of provided by the loop. So finally factorial is stored factorial is stored the factorial of that given number. For example, if loop when I is equal to 1, then factorial is equal to factorial is equal to 1 into 1. It means factorial is equal to 1. When I is equal to 2, then factorial is equal to 1 into 2. When I is equal to 3, then factorial is equal to 2 into 3. When I is equal to 4, factorial is equal to 6 into 4. Okay, so in this manner factorial will be calculated. And finally factorial is calculated after loop is over, and that is the result is stored in the variable factorial. Now we have to print that statement. So we just give the print statement after that, and we give print the factorial of num is factorial, because factorial variable stored the factorial of that number. So we just give the statement print the factorial of num is factorial, and factorial will be printed, and output look like this. Suppose if we give number 7, then the factorial will look like this. The factorial of 7 is 5040. You can easily see on the screen. Now program number 10, Python program to display the multiplication table. So this is a program to display the multiplication table, and we make this program using loop. So let us see the source code of it. First of all, we have a number which we find out table. So let us take a number, and number is suppose 12. So the table of 12 will be printed, and if you want to use an input, then give a variable num and give a statement int input display multiplication table of. So we can easily implement this program using for loop. So the statement is for I in range 1 to 11, because when we take a table of a number, then the number is multiplied from 1 up to 10. So the range is given as 1 to 11 because last number is not considered. Or you can say that we given an extra value when we just use a range function. So if we use a range function from 1 to 11, it simply means that number are considered from 1 to 10 only. Within the loop, we can easily see that the statement is given print num multiplied by I. I is the basically the iteration value of the loop. Okay, is equal to num into I. So the result look like that: num into 1. Suppose num is equal to 5 or num is equal to 12, then 12 into 1 is equal to 12. Next time, for second iteration, loop will be executed and the result will be displayed as 12 into 2 is equal to 24. Again third time, 12 into 3 is equal to 36, and at last when loop will be executed for the value of 10, then 12 into 10 is equal to 120. So that is the output of this program. So very simple program. I think using for loop, it is easy to implement this program. You can also write this program using while loop, but using for loop, it is very easy to implement. Now this is program number 11, Python program to find the Fibonacci sequence of Fibonacci series up to a given number. So first of all, what is a Fibonacci series? Actually, when we talk about the Fibonacci series, a Fibonacci sequence is the interval sequence of 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. It's such type of series there. It's called the Fibonacci series, and you can easily see that a term given in the Fibonacci series is a sum of its previous two terms. For example, third term is 1, and first term is 0, second term is 1. When we add 0 and 1, then we get a result 1, and 1 is placed at the third place. For example, at fourth place, number is 2 is there because its previous two terms are 1 and 1. So when we add 1 plus 1, then result is 2. So 2 will be there at the fourth position. After that, we can easily see that 3 is there. So previous two terms are 1 and 2. When we add 1 and 2, then we get a number 3. And similarly, next term is 5, which is the sum of 2 plus 3. Next term is 8, which is sum of 3 plus 5. So basically, in Fibonacci series, the term is the sum of its previous two terms. So first of all, as far as its starting terms are concerned, so these are always fixed, 0 and 1, because to find out the third term, we have to we must add its previous two terms. So we must have at least two values. So these two values are fixed, first term and the second term. These are always 0 and 1 as far as program is concerned. So in this programming, or if we want to write a program of Fibonacci series, we have to fix these two values, first values and second value, and after that we write a code to implement the Fibonacci series up to a given number, in such a way that a term is the sum of its previous two terms. I think the concept of Fibonacci series is quite clear to all of you. So the first two terms are 0 and 1 are always fixed. Now let us see the source code to implement the Fibonacci series. As you can see on the screen, the first two terms are 0 and 1, and all other terms are obtained by adding the preceding two terms. Like me to say the nth term is the sum of n minus 1 term and n minus 2th term. So that is the source code given here. First of all, nth term should be given because we have to find out the factorial of a given number up to nth term. So we just input the nth term, and so statement is int input how many terms. So here you have to input how many terms or up to which term you find the Fibonacci series. And as I told you earlier that first two terms are always fixed, because to find out the Fibonacci series first two terms are first two terms are given 0 and 1, because only after that you are capable to find out the third term and fourth term and terms onwards after that, because according to the definition of Fibonacci series, a term is a sum of its previous two terms. Okay, so n1 comma n2 are initialized with 0 and 1. So these are the first two values, and we give another, and we take another variable here count and initialize it with 0. Okay, now you can see that. First of all, the condition is given: if nth term is less than or equal to 0, then there is a print statement, please enter a positive number. Nth term is negative, then we cannot able to find out the Fibonacci series, because Fibonacci series is always is for positive numbers. You cannot find out Fibonacci series for a negative number. So or we can say that if you find out Fibonacci series up to -2 term, that is not possible. So user must input a positive number, or value may be 0, then also we can find out the value of so less than or equal to 0. So value is, if value equal to 0 or value is negative, then we cannot find out the Fibonacci series, because we have to find out the Fibonacci series up to nth term, and nth term is must be a positive number. So if nth term is found to be negative or 0, then their message should be displayed that please enter a positive number. So that statement is given within the if statement. After that, it may be possible that user input n term is equal to 1. So for that we give a statement elif, and condition is given that n terms is equal to 1, then print message Fibonacci sequence up to nth term, print n1. So 0 will be printed, and in the program we already initialize n1 with 0, so 0 will be printed in that case, because first term is 0. And after that, whatever the number, positive number, there should be a calculation for the Fibonacci series or the sequence. So that part is calculated within the else statement. So you can see that else is there, and first line which we give here Fibonacci sequence. So the actual coding of that Fibonacci series basically contained with else statement, and there is a loop which calculates the Fibonacci series. So if a statement is given. First of all, if statement is given, we check whether a number is negative or 0. For that there is a message, and if is equal to 1, then already we know that the Fibonacci series of Fibonacci series start with 0. So first term is 0, 0 will be there, so that number will be printed. And as Fibonacci series for any other number, there is a coding given in the else part of that program. You can easily see here. This will calculate the Fibonacci series. First of all, as we know that we initialize count with 0, so here count is equal to 0 because we initialize count with 0 is compared with nth term, and here nth term is a positive number, so loop will definitely be executed for at least one value if n terms is equal to 2, because for n terms equal to 1, coding is given in the elif statement. And then you can see that second statement print n1, so n1 will be printed. Okay, n1 will be printed, and after that nth term will be calculated according to the definition, which says that Fibonacci series nth term is the sum of its previous two terms. So here we have to calculate the third term. So third term is basically the sum of first two terms, first when a loop executed first time. So nth is equal to n1 plus n2. After that we swap the just the value, n1 is equal to n2 and n2 is equal to nth term, and there is an increment of the value of count, so we just give the statement count is equal to count plus 1, and this loop will be executed up to the nth terms. So now we are capable to find the Fibonacci series up to nth term using this code. In this code there are basically two things. First of all, we have to calculate the nth term using the formula, using the statement nth is equal to n plus 1 and n1 plus n2, and after that we just swap the values, and we swap here because we want to sum of its previous two values. So now n1 becomes n2 and n2 becomes nth, and there is an increment of value of count. Only after that we are capable to execute the loop again. So that is a coding of Fibonacci series, and now I hope you are able to understand how to print a Fibonacci series. Look at the coding part, this is very important. Now you can see the output, how many terms. Suppose I give 7, then Fibonacci sequence look like this. Zero, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and last term is 8, because 8 is the sum of 5 plus 3. 5 plus 3 we get 8. This is a program number 12, Python program to find the sum of natural numbers. So this is a very simple program. I think we are able to do this without any guidance. So I already discussed this program, and the concept of if else statement was discussed. So first of all, if there is a number then number is given. Suppose we have to find out the sum of natural number up to 16s. So first of all we check num is less than 0. If num is found to be less than 0, then enter a positive number. A number is given, or you can give a user input. So first of all we have to check that number is less than 0 or not. If number is found to be less than 0, then there is a statement print enter a positive number. Okay, and else part basically calculate the sum up to n numbers. So first of all, sum is basically a variable which contains the final result, so we initialize it with 0, and after that we just execute the while loop. We use while loop to iterate until 0. So while num is greater than 0, if number is found to be greater than 0, then we give the statement sum is equal to sum plus num, and initially sum is equal to 0. So every time value of sum will be find out using the formula sum is equal to sum plus num, because sum is changed each and every time for the value of num, and there is a decrement of the value of the num. Statement is given as num equal to num minus 1, is also written as num minus equal to 1, and finally when we get the final sum, that sum will be printed in the statement. So you can see the code. While num is greater than 0, sum is equal to sum plus num, and then there is an increment of the value of the num, because we have to find out the sum of up to n. So always there is a decrement of the value of the num, and then that result is stored basically into the variable sum. Then if we just print the statement print the sum is sum, then the sum up to natural number, up to that natural number will be printed. Okay, so that is the program to find out the sum up to n natural numbers. So sum up to n natural number will be calculated just like that. Here we can easily see that we use the if else statement and while loop in this program, and most of the program are basically use if else statement because different conditions are given. So it's your choice to pick if else or if else statement, or basically is the demand of the questions. If there are more than 2 conditions, then we use if else statement. If else statement. If there are only 2 statement, then we just use if else statement. And if we want to execute a certain statement into a certain number of times, then we use loop. So now I hope you are able to understand this program. So try to execute this program on your computer. This will give you a clear idea how these programs work. And also when you execute a program, second important thing is that execute that program for a particular value or for a user input. It will give you a clear idea. So, and write the program in a practical copy according to the user input only, because most of the time in examination program are asked related to user input. You input a value, and according to that condition or according to that calculation will be there, or result will be there. So now I hope you are able to understand all these programs. Write this program in a copy practical file. Thanks for watching this video.